Hey guys, Tom Mobile back again. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Insta 360 Go 2. Terrible name, by the way. I know on my channel I typically review cell phones, but today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I enjoy tech in general, so I did want to expand a little bit just in terms of other products out in the world. I view smartphone as a central hub. Pretty much everything you do on your day-to-day life, everything is connected to your smartphone. Whether it's Gmail, text, social media, every single product that you really use, the mobile phone is the hub, and there are so many other products that can connect to it, whether it's a smart device, smart plug, the cameras, pretty much anything tech related is built with smartphone in mind these days. And as much as I do love the Galaxy series, I love other techs as well. And there are so many other cool gadgets out there. And for me personally, when I am trying to make a decision on which products to buy, I watch a whole bunch of videos like these just so I can get different perspective, get a sense of how people are feeling. And I'm hoping to create another video that will be helpful for people as well. Because for me, when I was deciding whether to buy the Insta 360 Go 2 or not, I watched so many different videos and decided to pull the trigger. And now I'm going to do a deep dive into the Insta 360 Go 2. I always gotta think twice before I say that name, because the name in itself is pretty confusing. Even though the company is called Insta 360, they do offer a 360 camera, but the Go 2 is not a 360 camera. It is just one product under their Insta 360 company name. But essentially the Go 2 is a portable action camera. It really is tiny and portable. It is about the size of your thumb. And if you include the case is about the size of AirPods. But it's a pretty interesting camera. You can record in a couple minutes clip, 5 to 10 minutes. I think 10 minutes may be the max. And you can have it mounted on your chest with a necklace that is provided. They give you, put underneath your shirt, and there's like a magnetic circular thing that you can just slap the camera and it will stick on. The magnet is actually pretty strong. You can run around with it, jump, work out, do everything just fine, but just make sure you don't knock it off by accident, because the minute you hit it, it will fall off. And the Insta 360 does get really hot as you're using it, so just be aware of that. Since it is such a tiny device, there's only so much it can do. And if you are recording constantly for 10 to 30 minutes in a row, it will get really hot. So you have to be really selective in terms of when you want to record and what you want to record. You can't just keep it running all day and expect to capture a whole bunch of footages. So just something to keep in mind there with this tiny little action camera. Even though they gave us the necklace, I usually just put it in my pocket, on one of my side pocket on my chest. That way I can mount it that way. The only reason why I don't use the necklace all the time is if you're wearing a jacket, sometimes there's a zipper in the middle, then it gets a little bit awkward, then you gotta shift it to the side. But I find that it works just as well when it's sitting inside my pocket. But the one day where I decided to switch it over to my right pocket and I use it to record a running video, I accidentally knocked it off while I was running. So just be aware of that. Since it is so tiny and compact, you might not even realize you've lost it. So luckily for me, I was able to retrace my step and find my camera, but it did suffer some battle wound scars. And the Go 2 only has 32 gigabytes of storage, which is tiny by today's standard. And on top of that, it lacks external storage. It's also missing 4K, which I'm fine with. I know people like to record in 4K, but most of the time when people are watching videos on their phone, it is capped at 1080p anyway, so I'm not too concerned there. But every time you use this camera, you have to be really thoughtful about how and when you want to record, because you are limited in storage and you're limited in battery. I guess if you just take the camera out of its case, the case can actually charge the camera. But if you take the camera out of the case, it will last about half an hour. And then once you put it back in the case, it can charge while it's in there. So I believe the case itself will give it an extra hour or so of battery life. And you can actually record it while it's in the case too. So that is beneficial. But at the same time, you are fighting storage capacity in addition to fighting battery life constantly when you're using this camera. And when it is actually recording, you do see a white blinking light. I wish that the light was on top of the camera instead of pointing at the figure you're recording. Because if I have it mounted on my chest, I do see like a little circle on top of the camera. That is the mic. But sometimes I don't know if it's recording. If I'm recording a 5 or 10 minute clip, I'm not sure if it's over or not, then I will have to either take the camera off and look at it myself just to make sure it's recording. Or it's really hard to tell if it's recording or not. The indicator is not visible to me unless I press record, I look at the indicator, and then I mount it on. So you will run into issues where you think it's recording and it's not. And the mic on top is pretty decent as well. And some of the other downfall with this camera is it takes a while to export. If you're using the app, it is super slow. You're better off using the computer. But ironically, even though this camera is so tiny and portable, the best way to get the most optimal result is to use a computer. But once again, that will require you to have an actual computer, and you need a USB cable to transfer the file. And then on top of that, you need to download this software in order to process everything and get the stable flow OIS. So as you're walking around, you wouldn't see the camera bounce around or anything like that. You can use it without that, but you can tell it is noticeably shakier. So you're better off always using the software to process. And it takes some time. Camera is 32 gigabytes of file. Each file may take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes to convert. So a lot of things to consider if you're using this camera on the go, and if you want to edit, it does take time and effort and a computer just to bring with you. And you need to charge the camera, so lots of things to consider. And it is pretty pricey, $320 on the Amazon for what it is. And it is for very specific use cases. For me personally, I bought it because I wanted to be subtle. When I went to my vacation in Italy, I wanted something that I can use to record and without me having to carry my phone all the time. And it's good when I'm at home, if I'm going for short strolls or little runs. But you do plan to use this as a camera when you're traveling. Be prepared to pack the additional things such as the laptop and the transfer cable. Overall, I still like it for very specific niche cases. And if you're interested in buying one, I did leave the link in below. If you don't mind clicking on it from Amazon, and if you do purchase, it certainly will help the channel. But when I was using this phone in Italy, it worked basically the way I expected. A lot of people don't even know I'm recording for the most part. I hate walking around with a giant camera on a tripod and just recording a lot of things. It makes people feel uncomfortable. Some people want to be in clip, other people don't. But with this camera, most people won't even notice it if you have it mounted on your chest. Though in one of the stores I was at, the security guard actually complimented me on the camera due to the fact that it is so tiny and compact. But for the most part, most people won't even bat an eye, which is cool. Me personally, I don't like walking around with a giant tripod and holding a GoPro action camera mounted on my head or anything like that. And the idea of selfie stick is obnoxious for me, and it's just another extra thing to carry. So I don't really like having all that on me while I'm traveling. So I was able to capture a bunch of great video footage just using the GoTo when I was in Italy. But the second time when I went on vacation in Hawaii, I actually had my GoTo camera and the GoPro Hero 8. I actually ended up using the GoPro more, not even touching the GoTo at all, due to the fact that the GoPro Hero, it just has a longer and better battery life, and it's just a super touristy area, so everyone got their cameras and everything like that, so I don't really know what's looking at you weird. I personally use the clip so I can have it on my chest pocket or my backpack, and that actually works pretty well, and I was pretty happy with the results. But with the GoTo, when you buy the camera, you basically have everything included inside, such as the necklace where you can mount the phone. They give you a little sticker where you can slap it on top of your helmet, or on the airplane you can stick it on the window. They got the little 3M tape that you can pretty much attach it to anywhere. And the charging case itself is a tripod stand. It's super small and tiny though, so I wouldn't recommend using it. Any little wind will push it over, or if somebody shakes the table, you accidentally touch it, it will tumble over. So it does support a tripod, but you gotta make sure everything is super stable in the most perfect condition. But in general, when I'm using this camera, I enjoy using it at home when I'm going a short jog and I want to be discreet and less obnoxious, especially during the summer. If you want to travel super light, wearing shorts, t-shirts, just going for a quick run, slap this thing on your chest, it'll be good and ready to go. Compared to the GoPro, it is super bulky and heavy. I don't want to wear a helmet while I'm running, or even mounting it on my chest can be a little awkward. You gotta buy all these extra accessories for the GoPro Hero 8. This is not really usable, you gotta buy additional accessories for the GoPro. But with the Insta360 Go 2, you're getting the benefit of a tiny action camera. It is actually waterproof up to 13 feet. I'm never going to be diving or anything with this camera, but it's good to know that it does have the capability. And during the day, it provides some awesome video quality. Walking videos look great, but at nighttime, it does suffer from poor video quality when the sun goes down or just under poor lighting conditions. Although this is a very specific niche camera, I do enjoy it due to the fact that it is small, discreet. I like that I can have it under, I like that the magnet strip can just slip under my shirt and I can have the camera just mount it in the middle of my chest, or I can put it in my pocket, shift it to the left of my chest. That always worked well. And me personally, I don't like wearing a giant GoPro on my head, walking around screaming, hey, I'm recording everything here. It makes people feel uncomfortable. I personally feel uncomfortable when I see people recording and I'm not consenting, and I totally get it. So I wanted something that's small and subtle, and this one does the job. Gives me a great POV view, which is nice, so I can use for my phone review channels. It frees up an extra hand. I don't need to use one phone to record another phone, which looks weird. A lot of time when you're making content or just recording video clips in general, you gotta get used to looking weird and funny. You gotta bend down, be a little extreme. For me, I like to be more subtle about a lot of these things, so this camera works out for me. But there you go. So you're interested in having something that is nice, compact, can blend in easily with your everyday life. It is pricey for what it is, but it does serve its purpose. You can just mount it on your chest, hit record, go about your life, and be on your way. Hope you guys found this video to be helpful. Please check out my daily vlogs on my other cell phones, such as the Galaxy S23 and A54. And let me know if there's any other products you want me to cover. Appreciate the support as always. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and see you guys in the next video.